Hello. I know it's a bit awkward considering that I haven't been uploading for the last 3 months. But now I'd like to give you guys an update, especially on a project that's very near and dear to my heart. The graph database. Some of the more astute of you may have realized that the graph comparison tool at crinacle.com now redirects to graph.hangout.audio with completely new UI. And of course, some of you may also have the burning questions. Crin, what the hell is actually happening? Is this the sign of something bigger? Why is everything free now? So yes, we've been doing a bit of finagling behind the scenes. We have moved to a new URL, but the biggest announcement is that the graph comparison tool, my graph comparison tool, is now part of the Squiglink ecosystem. And on top of all of that, you also see that everything on the graph comparison tool is now completely free. No paywalls, no premium subscriptions. Everything is completely at your fingertips. So most of you are probably cheering just for the fact that the graph comparison tool is now free. There is no reason for you to spend any money anymore. But let me just explain what the bigger picture in all of this is, starting with the whole Squiglink integration. What exactly is Squiglink? Squiglink is an initiative started by Mark Ryan Sally, aka Super Reviews. He is a close personal friend and one of the very few reviewers that I really truly respect. The Squiglink initiative allows for any one of you who has a 7-Eleven coupler who wants to start their own database to do so very simply. All you have to do is just contact Mr. Super Reviews, give him your particulars, your details, and then you can have the most powerful graph comparison tool available on the market today at your fingertips, completely free. Even at this point, I've completely lost count of how many Squiglink databases have been registered. You could just click down on the drop downs of any Squiglink website and you would see the absolute wealth of information that's available just at a click of a button. So for the longest time, I've pretty much been independent. I hosted my graph comparison tool on crinacle.com, completely separate from the Squiglink database. And on top of that, I've been one of the very few graph comparison sites who actually has a paywall system because, let's face it, I kind of just can't do it. Again, I have the world's largest public database of headphone and earphone measurements, both of which has equipment that costs well into the thousands of dollars. And most recently, with the purchase of the Brew & Care Type 5128, the expenses that I've incurred have increased considerably as well. But at this point, I have a lot of other businesses. I of course have my collaborations. I have hangout.audio, my new online retail store. By the way, go there, buy things, support me. And I feel like there's really no need for me to charge for graphs anymore. So the first step of the grand plan is simply just to remove the paywall. Now you no longer have to pay for power user features. The only really big restriction that my graph comparison tool has right now is that you don't have the means to download the raw data off of the tool. That's, I feel, is a step too far. So yes, my graph comparison tool is now free, but what about the whole Squiglink integration? Really, the main benefit is that my measurements are now indexed into every single Squiglink database's search engine. So on a less altruistic note, if you go to a different Squiglink database and you type out a model that guy maybe didn't measure, but I did, my measurements would pop up in the search. But on a less altruistic note, if you go to my database and you search up a model that maybe I didn't measure yet, then every single other database with that model would be indexed for you. Basically, this is my way of trying to integrate properly with the IEM community. I am just one guy. I can't measure every single IEM in existence, even though I want to. But the beauty of Squiglink is that now the others can pick up on my slack. If I haven't measured an IEM, you could still just find someone else that did. That said, I'm still probably one of the very few in the world with a properly public database of 5128 measurements. So I still have an edge here. Now I'd like to extend my further thanks to Mr. Mark Ryan Sally, Super Reviews, for helping me integrate my database into his, frankly, amazing project. On top of that, there's also the OG, Mr. Marshall Lockbaum, the guy who developed the Crin graph tool. Without Mr. Lockbaum, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have the graph comparison tools as we see them today. So we have to give our respects to the pioneers. I would also like to thank Mr. Haruto Hiroki for developing the target features of the tool a little bit more, as well as Rosa for developing what we know today as the EQ and auto EQ functionality that is now embedded in the tool. And just a little bit of shilling now that the graph tool is again completely free. Please support us at hangout.audio. We're an online retail store that specializes mainly in IEMs and a bit of DAX and Ms here and there. So support us. There are also a lot of other projects that I like to fund as well. So stick with us and hopefully we can all see them come to fruition. That is my quick-ish update, and I promise you there is genuinely more content coming to this channel. I haven't completely abandoned it yet. So see you next week, kind of, and don't die. Fuck off.